All right. Welcome to the Centre Circle, episode 46. Before we do our introductions, we can say thank you for the likes and subscriptions and comments and reposts and all that good stuff. Thank you very much. Keep it coming. So today you got myself, Keith, in the hot seat hosting.
Isaac.
And we've got Tyrell, who's going to be fashionably late for this episode. So we're just going to start off by talking about this weekend's round of fixtures. As we know, it's the Premier League version of the winter break. So we've had 4 games so far at point of recording. So we're going to talk about Brentford v Nottingham Forest, Sheffield United v West Ham, Arsenal v Crystal Palace, and Bournemouth v Liverpool, which has finished not too long ago. And then we're just going to touch on a few things that have happened outside of the pitch. So Jose Mourinho getting sacked from Roma, Deeney, unsurprisingly, some might say, getting sacked from Forest Green, and touch on a couple of racist incidents that happened yesterday. So right, let's get into it. Brentford v Nottingham Forest. So this was billed as the return of Ivan Toney, and if you've been following Brentford's social media in the lead up to this game, you would have thought he was been released from prison.
They introduced him like the Undertaker. They took it back, man.
Yeah, like he's back. Like,
that was a full display, pyrotechnics, all of that.
And I can kind of understand like the hype they put around it. Like, he is their talisman.
Do you think they've done that as a way of like showing him, look, we care about you, we want you to stay, we want you here.
100%.
Don't leave. Because obviously there's been a lot of talk about the January transfer window and him possibly being linked with moves elsewhere. Do you think that's them putting their flag in the sand and just saying, look, we want you here?
Yeah, 100%. I think they showed that by backing him throughout the ban that he received anyway. But in the lead up, I think they've kind of rolled out the red carpet and like, listen, we know what you can do. We want you to know that we put faith in you. So kind of repay us what we've done for you, kind of standing by you in this situation. So yeah, let's get into the game. So started quite fast. Danilo scored a bit of a screamer. Ball fell to him at the edge of the box, took one touch on the thigh, on his left thigh, and then volleyed it into the corner with his right foot. Kind of took me by surprise. Took the Brentford goalkeeper by surprise as well. Like, it wasn't until I saw it in the back of the net, I was like, oh, he scored, kind of thing. And then I was like, maybe Nuno's good form that he's kind of brought into Nottingham Forest since he's joined is going to just kind of continue, and he will kind of push them away from the relegation zone, because let's be honest, they're not like in a great position before they went into that game. And then in the 19th minute, Brentford get a free kick on the edge of the box. So there's been a bit of a fallout for this, and for me, I personally don't understand why. So for those that don't know what happened, Ivan Toney picks up the ball. Referee does his little foam spray, and Nottingham Forest set up their wall. So while the referee's back is turned, Ivan Toney picks up the ball, shifts it a couple centimetres to the right. And then the referee's back is still turned, and he can see where Nottingham Forest wall is set up. Looks a bit, I wouldn't say the angle's difficult for him, but he wants to get them the best advantage of what he can.
As all players do.
So what he does this time, he picks up the ball, moves it to the right a little bit more, but when he does that, he takes a bit of the referee spray foam with him. So it looks like the referee has sprayed where he placed the ball. And people say I've heard the word cheating, and I think that's just too far. It's just football gamesmanship.
For me, it's a witch hunt. It's an absolute witch hunt. They're just, because it's Ivan Toney, they're just going, cheat, bad, da. Do you know what I mean? They're pulling out all this stuff about, he's got a bet on, all of this banter, whatever. I see what Toney did, I see happen in football matches at the very least, 5 times a game.
Yeah, 100%.
Whether it's a free kick and they roll the ball forward, even though the ref will say point to a spot, they'll put the ball down. The ref will say right there, jog up the field to take his position. Player rolls the ball forward.
Yeah.
If it's a goal kick, I've seen them, it should be here, they've rolled it. If it's a free kick, they'll roll it.
Yeah, even throw-ins.
Throw-ins.
Never taken from where they're
How many yards do they steal in throw-ins?
This is it.
But yet, Toney shifts the ball to the right and all of a sudden it's a cheat and you've got Nuno writing to the FA about it. Everyone and their grandma calling him a cheat. It's like, bro, come on, you lot need to wind your necks in, man. It's
a molehill.
It's nonsense, man.
say.
Where's that same energy when it's Ward-Prowse or it's whoever else? Sorry, I picked your name out, James, but I'm just throwing names out there. Do you understand what I'm saying?
If you watched all 10 Premiership fixtures over a weekend or game week,
you'll lose count.
You will see that happen
The amount of times
every
you
match.
see it.
Yeah,
It's nonsense, man.
Yeah, I think it's been blown out of proportion.
Much about nothing.
But Toney steps up,
Scores.
and slots it.
Slots
in return, 90 minutes in. Didn't take him long at all. And I think it was quite good in the lead up to the game. Like, people saying, will he play, match fitness, etc. Well, we know he played like under 21s, under 23 games. But Frank would listen, he's our captain. He's going to come back, he's going to start, and he's going to captain us. So I think that just kind of helped everything rather than, wait for the team sheet to come out on a Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon, it would have been, etc. But yeah, it's a really good free kick. And then, Brentford kick on. They kind of have more dominance of the ball. You can see a goal coming, but it goes into half time 1-1. Come out for the second half, pretty much the same. Brentford dominating, and they take the lead through a Ben Mee header from a corner. And kind of watching the game, I was like, Brentford are gonna see this out. Should be pretty straightforward, etc. But Nottingham Forest, as I said, under Nuno, they've kind of their style of play has changed a bit, and I don't want to do a disservice to Cooper because he got Forest up, and they weren't a bad team last year. Once they kind of settled with their style of play, I think at the start of the season he struggled a little bit, but they were comfortably safe from relegation last season. Don't want to do Cooper a kind of disservice, as I said, but they started the season well, quite poorly under him. And I think Nuno's just come in and kind of invigorated a lot of the players, and Chris Wood, who got the equaliser to make it 2-2, he's...
I mean, if you look at it, Nuno's, he's been there, done that, right? He took that Wolves team, he come in and brought in the Portuguesers and managed to turn that team into a mid-table team, right? And they were quite well drilled. They had a decent style.
And for a team that came up from the Championship, he brought them up. So,
quite counter-attacking as well. And he made them reliable and sturdy, I'd say. And I think that's what he's brought to this Forest team. Like you said, Cooper's brought them up. He's got a certain style. I think he needs a bit more experience in terms of making that style fit the Premier League and fit the players that you have, right? Because cool, you might have a certain style, but you might not have the depth within your team.
So you mean more experienced players?
Exactly. So then how do you manage that?
What Luton have done with Townsend and Barkley.
Exactly. How do you deal with that, right? Because he had all those players. He's got Cheku Kiarte, Sangare, all these players. So they're seasoned players, but they might not have the experience of surviving in the Premier League or being a mid-table team, right? And that's what Nuno brings to this Forest team, and you can see it immediately that he's got them a bit more compact. They're playing, football on the front foot.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're counter-attacking. I mean, if you look at the game against Newcastle, it was counter-attacking.
Very much counter-attacking. Yeah.
And Chris Wood looked like an elite striker, right? I've never seen that with Steve Cooper's teams.
True.
I did want to ask, how did they look on the whole against Brentford, and how did Toney look considering it was his first game back.
So I'll start on Toney. I thought he looked pretty good. I think the first kind of 10, 15 minutes, like he was trying too hard in it. Like he'd been missing it, and he was just trying to kind of
force something.
Like it wasn't his kind of natural, just kind of play as you do, like what you know, kind of thing. It was like he was just trying to do everything, so to speak. But I think once he got his goal, we settled down, and like I didn't realize how good his hold up play was. Because like
it's always been top tier.
When there's kind of scrutiny on the player, sometimes you kind of watch them a bit more. And like his hold up play, like yesterday was really good.
Very good.
And I think those are the attributes that kind of separate him from like maybe your Solankis or your Wilsons when you go into that. Who's going to be potentially the second striker?
Who's going to be Kane's backup?
Yeah. So like we've spoken about this. Like I think Watkins is going to...
Potentially how many 6 strikers in the running?
So
Calvert-Lewin, Watkins, Toney, Wilson, Solanke.
Yeah.
There's one more. I want to say Tammy Abraham, but
no chance.
No chance.
No chance. But I think Toney's hold-up play, as well as being able to put the ball in the back of the net, might separate him from Calvert-Lewin, Solanke, maybe Wilson. But again, like
Eddie Nketiah. That was the 6th striker.
Yeah.
No?
He needs to worry about playing for Arsenal first. Then England. But I think if Southgate takes 3 strikers, Kane's shooing, Watkins, even though he hasn't scored for a while, I think Toney would be that one, but you never know with Southgate. But I think he's back at the right time for Brentford, like with Mbeumo being out and Wissa in AFCON. Like they need someone who can put the ball in the back of the net in their absence. And I think, I'm not sure how long Mbeumo is out for, but if they can get Wissa back unscathed from AFCON, Toney, and Mbeumo when he's back, like that front three is a pretty decent Premier League front three. In terms of Forest, I thought they played well. Again, they were more on the counter side, like they were against Newcastle. But I think you kind of expect that with teams around the relegation zone. It's not very often you will see a team down there that's kind of looking to be free flowing and on the front foot away from home, especially kind of against a team.
It is rare.
Fight.
I mean, and Iraola's got Bournemouth on the front foot, and it seems to be working for them.
Yeah.
But and it would be good if more teams tried that. But unfortunately, the talent gap is just, you try to play football against a team like Man City, you're going to get kicked off the park.
Yeah, this is
you know what I mean?
And to be fair, Iraola's had a pre-season in it, so he's had a time to bed in kind of how he wants to play. And I think with him, like we'll touch on Bournemouth Liverpool later, it just took a while for it to get running, so to speak. But I don't think Nottingham Forest will be in trouble. Like I know they're 16th. They got 20 points. Luton on 18th with 16 points. I think Nuno's got enough in him as a manager to keep them up, and I think that's the goal this season. Like whenever a manager gets sacked around that kind of, when your team is that low in the league, it's ultimately just whoever comes in is keep us up in it. If you can get us higher up the league as much as you can, all well and good. But yeah, I think it's just
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I definitely don't see them going down. I don't think they'll do much business this window.
No. Well, to be fair, with the sanctions that have just hit them, it's very unlikely.
Well, this is it now, because if they get charged on a points deduction, then there's a possibility that they may.
Yeah, they may go down anyway. So
they may go down.
We have to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can touch on that in our topic section, actually. That'd be good to get your views on that. So yeah, Chris Wood makes it 2-2. And then just 3 minutes later, I'm not sure, have you seen Neil Maupay's goal?
No, I've not seen it.
So the ball's fizzed into him. He's got his back to goal. And he's got to control it with his instep. So he's like lifted up his foot a little bit. It's a very good touch, actually. And the ball's kind of spun to his left. So he turned and just hit it on the half volley after the good touch. And it was a really good goal, actually. Like I'm like, who scored that? Morpay? Nah. It's one of them ones.
Well, I mean, when he has a Brentford shirt on, he seems to know where the goal is.
This is true. Reverted back to type before his few big money moves. But yeah, Brentford saw out the game 3-2. That moved them above Nottingham Forest in the table, so they're now 14th with 22 points. Again, I wouldn't say they're in a relegation battle, but they're there or thereabouts. Like if they hadn't won on Saturday, like it would have been only 3 points ahead of Luton. But I think again, same with Wolves. Sorry, not Wolves. I've got Nuno on my head. Who was Wolves manager. Same with Nottingham Forest. I think they will have too much more than the teams that are in the bottom three right now. So I don't see them getting relegated, to be honest.
Enough.
I think it will be, if they might be in a scrap, but I think they'll have enough. Like I say, if they get the front three back, I think they'll be fine. Toney, we mentioned him a couple times. What's good for him in terms of goal assist wise, or just goals? I know some people don't like the whole GA thing. What do you think he's got to do?
I think if he hits 15
combined, that'd be really good.
I think that's a good season. That's a good Hort return for half a season. 15 combined. Ideally, 10 goals, 5 assists. Yeah. Ideally. I mean,
so Brentford have
in a perfect world, 15 goals. Brentford would prefer 15 goals, right?
Yeah.
But I mean,
so they've got 18 games left, and if he can get, like you say, 15 GNA in that time, you would think that would do very well to kind of keep them away from any kind of relegation struggles that they might have. So so moving on to today's fixture, which was quite eventful. So Sheffield United 2, West Ham 2. So Cornet opened the scoring for West Ham in this match. It was his first goal for West Ham. He's been there quite some time. He got a bit of pelters for his performance in the FA Cup replay midweek. So I think he'd be happy that he scored to get a bit of a monkey off his back.
I was about to say I was surprised he scored, but then again, and he's not at AFCON, but then again, he's hardly played for West Ham, so...
Yeah, this is it. So I think this is his second season, and this is his 28th game, so it's not a...
It's not a good return.
It's not a fantastic return for him. West Ham were pretty... I don't want to say lackluster, but for taking the lead, they didn't kind of capitalise on that. And Sheffield United were like really in the game. And in the lead up to half time, I thought it would have been a bit of a disservice them not being level. But Brereton Diaz,
Big Ben,
back in
Chilean
England.
wonder.
Yeah, back in England after an unsuccessful spell at Villarreal, which I'm a little bit surprised about, just because I know he went from the Championship to La Liga, but he was clearly better than the Championship level, I'd say. Like, I think he kind of knew that himself, so went to challenge himself.
Well, he's proved it by playing for Chile and scoring.
Yeah, I was saying, like, becoming a certified Chilean like,
international,
first teamer.
Yeah,
like playing well in what's their tournament?
Copa
America, etc. But yeah, he didn't play many games over at Villarreal. I think he played like less than 5 games in total. So I'm not surprised that a Premiership team has gone in for him. And Sheffield United could do with someone who can put the ball in the back of the net. Like if you look at their strikers, Ollie McBurney, you get your odd goal here and there. Ryan Brewster never really lived up to the hype and price tag since he's been there. So yeah, I think it could be a good deal for them all round. I don't know. Do you think he might be putting himself in the shop window for other Premier League teams? Because let's say Sheffield United go down, which is pretty much likely. I doubt he'll want to go back to the Championship so soon. if a loan.
So this was a permanent move?
No, it's a loan, but I'm saying just how it's transpiring at the minute, it doesn't look like he's going to stay at Villarreal.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he put himself in the shop window for other
I
Premiership
personally think he's already been in the shop window. I'm surprised a move to the Prem hasn't come sooner.
Okay.
I'm definitely surprised one of the
lower
promoted teams, or even one of the lower teams, relegation fodder, hadn't tried to pick him up. Maybe they have, and just the deal didn't work. And maybe, like you said, he thought he was better than that, and he wanted to go and take the challenge of playing for Villarreal. Now, why that hasn't worked out, who knows? Could be a language barrier. Could just be he's not up to the challenge. Could be he's just not settling well. I definitely believe, like you said, he's better than the Championship. He needs to prove himself in the Prem. I would like to see him in the Prem. I think he's a decent striker.
Yeah.
I'd like to see maybe a mid-table team or a team that's they know they're gonna scrap in a have a relegation scrap. You know, pick him up and see what he does for them. Because like we said, he's proven at an international level in terms of he's doing the job for Chile.
Yeah.
Why couldn't he come in and do it? Okay, the Prem's different. It's a different kettle of fish. Some would argue the standard of players that he's playing against are much higher. But why not give him a chance?
Yeah, no, I fully
You've
agree.
got players like Danny Ings and
well,
etc. knocking about.
Speaking about Danny Ings, so it's 1-1 at half time. Going into the second half, pretty much muchness in terms of how the game is. Nothing really outstanding. And then Danny Ings does a bit of jinky-me-jinky in the box and gets fouled. 79th minute, West Ham get a penalty. Ward-Prowse steps up. Ward-Prowse on a penalty, does what he does. Scores straight down the middle. 2-1 to West Ham. And that kind of was a bit of a sucker punch to Sheffield United. Like I say, the game was pretty even up until then. And yeah, it took a bit of wind out of their sails. So game's just kind of petering out, gets to like the 90th minute. And Brewster, who we just mentioned earlier, he goes in, I can't remember what West Ham player it was, forgive me, but goes in kind of two-footed, studs up, sliding tackle, misses the ball completely, and is shown a red card, which is totally justified, like no kind of argument with that. And you just think West Ham are going to see out the game. But then Kufal gets booked twice in quick succession, which ends up with him getting sent off in the 90+7th minute. From that resulting free kick from his second yellow, the ball's played into the West Ham box, and Areola comes out, tries to punch the ball, catches McBurney, and is unfortunately catches him, and a penalty is awarded to Sheffield United. From my view, I thought it was very soft because he clearly kind of had his eyes on the ball. There was Areola, McBurney, and another West Ham player all kind of just going up at the same time. And it was just unfortunate he got caught, but I don't think it was malicious. And I thought VAR might have kind of overturned it, looking at the replays, but they stuck with the on-field decision. And McBurney steps up in, I think it's like the 103rd minute to equalise, pretty much the last kick of the game, make it 2-2. So that moves Sheffield United to 10 points. They're still bottom of the league, kind of 7 points from safety. West Ham are still 6, 35 points. And like the question I wanted to ask was, there's rumblings about how well David Moyes is doing and does he deserve a new contract?
They've already said they're not going to give him a contract, or they're at least going to look at it at the end of the season. But the likelihood is they're going to move him on.
Yeah, and just some disgruntled West Ham fans. Is this a case of like the whole entitlement factor rearing its head again?
In regards to what?
Just because, so West Ham, they won the Conference League last year, so there's a level of expectation on them now. So for me, outside looking in, I see West Ham are in 6th position above Brighton, Chelsea, Newcastle. They top their Europa League group. what's there to gripe about right now? Because playing wise, they're not kind of playing boring football, and they've got a lot of injuries at the minute.
I mean,
So why would a West Ham fan at this point in time, or even the West Ham owners, be like, we could do better?
Because that's you strike while the iron's hot, right? And like I was just about to say that. No, because that's what it boils down to. And I hate to. I know you're just gonna hear this and laugh, but I hate to get to this point and be like, I agree with him, because if the momentum's there, like you said, they're coming off a Europa Conference win.
Yeah.
They're top the Europa League group. They're sixth. They're within touching distance of. Not say touching distance. They're within reach of Champions League positions. More than likely, they're not going to get those, but they're within reach. And I personally feel like their performances are not great from what I've seen. I mean,
what about the Arsenal?
It looks typical Moyes ball.
Not even against Arsenal.
I mean, you get one-offs, but as a fan, you want consistency. You don't want one-offs, right? I know consistency is hard, and that's the difference between great teams and average teams. It's the teams that can be consistent, right? So, of course, as a fan, you're going to say, well, we've got momentum. Don't wait until that momentum dies out. Let's get rid of him, bring someone else in, push forward.
But I'm on the mindset of he's the driving force behind the momentum. Like, season before, so they won the Conference League last year. Their league form wasn't great. But season before then, they finished 7th. Yeah, because I think that's what got them into the Conference League, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So he's shown he can take West Ham higher up the league. I think last year we kind of discussed about he might have tried to change his style in terms of the signings and etc. Where I think now he's kind of got the balance of I wouldn't say marquee signings, but like your known players like Ward-Prowse and Kudus.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's got the balance of getting established players in terms of signings and getting the results on the pitch.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm like, Moyes is doing all right. Like,
I personally,
I think it would be very hard. Like if they finish 6th or 7th and get to like the Europa League quarterfinals, semi-final, maybe even further. Like, I don't know who. Like, obviously, there's people out there, managers that we don't know, etc., who could like bring on and kick on. But I think it would be very harsh, personally.
I don't think it would be harsh because I think Moyes he's reaching the end of his tenure at West Ham. Personally, I think he's done well. He's got them to a certain point. I think it's time to bring in fresh blood, new younger manager that's hungry, that's got a bit about him, that can carry West Ham to the next level. Because right now they're teetering on that. We're no longer, we're mid-table, but we're pushing to become part of the top 6, right? They're a striker. I think they're a very clinical striker away from top 6.
Yeah.
I think they've got a very good team. And even the team that they have now, I think a better manager than Moyes will get them really knocking on that door. The same way Aston Villa are knocking on the door, I think a really good manager will take this West Ham team and do what Unai Emery's doing with Aston Villa. I drew a blank there for some reason. But I would love to see someone else come in and see what they can do with this team. Because I know everyone says, like I said, everyone says, oh, they haven't got a number 9, but number 9s are hard to find right now. So you're going to have to work with what you've got. No, let's be real. They're hard to find right now. That's why you've got Vlahovic, there's talk about him moving, and the price tag is insane. It's because they're number 9s, genuine number 9s are hard to find these days.
He's not even prolific to be
exactly.
Those
so it's going to be a case of just work with what you have. And if Moyes can't take this crop of players to the next stage, bring someone else in.
So going back to what you said in terms of Moyes just kind of being consistent and being needed, and the need to go to the next level. Is this a kind of indication of how football's changed over the years? So if you take Moyes' tenure at Everton, where he was there for like nearly 10 years, and he was seen as consistent. Like I know he got them into the Champions League
once,
one year, but he would generally finish between like 5th and 10th.
Yeah.
And he was seen like in the eyes of Alex Ferguson as someone, obviously I know he was younger, as the eyes of one of the greatest managers, someone who could take a great club to the next level.
Which baffled me, to be honest.
which didn't happen.
Because he's shown nothing to prove to.
So is it a case now of maybe not kind of so much in the lower leagues like Championship League One, but in the Premier League, are we just saying that consistency doesn't really cut it? Unless you're consistently at the top, do you think there'll always be owners saying, I want to dine at the top table with the others? So
of course,
a consistent manager, being a consistent Premier League manager is not.
We're not dead. So that the era of the steady Eddie is gone because the league's all about money. The higher you finish, the more money you make, right?
Yeah.
With the TV revenues that are being dished out, clubs are, they have, they have more room and more buying power, right? So they can bring in players of a certain quality. So if I'm bringing in players of a certain quality and then also paying them a certain wage, the expectation now is different.
Yeah.
I also now want European ball. And now with the coefficients and the Premier League getting more European spots, teams are no longer just saying, I'm comfortable being mid-level, mid-table, steady Eddie.
Yeah.
We want to, like you said, we want to dine at the top table. We want to get into Europe. Okay, now we've got into the Europa Conference League. Next season, we want the Europa League. Now we've got the Europa League. Now the next season, we want to push for top 4 in Champions League. So I think the expectations have evolved. I think, there's no more room for the steady Eddie. And if there is, you only want to be there for so long. You don't just want to sit as a mid-table team forever. Right?
Yeah.
Because those around you will eventually evolve and you will get left behind.
Yeah, no, yeah. I just thought that was an interesting point that you mentioned. So yeah, it's good to do a little comparator. So yeah, that finished Sheffield United 2, West Ham United 2. Right, moving to the first game of the weekend, Arsenal v Crystal Palace. So before we talk about the game, do you think there's a bit of pressure on Arsenal going into
100%? What do you think, T?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Why is that?
Definitely.
Why is that? Sorry to interrupt, but I heard disastrous December as one of the
Whoa.
So it's not Dirty December.
Dirty December.
Do you know what? It was a bad December. We all saw it was a bad December. 3 losses in a row. Major pressure. But it was a good game to come back to. Palace at home should just do the job in it, and we done the job emphatically. 5-0. And that's what we needed, really. We didn't need the 1-0, 2-1, 5-0. Get the confidence back, move on.
How did you look? Because I just saw the notifications flash up. I saw Gabriel, and then obviously the second one got changed to an own goal. And I was a bit shocked. I was like, right, like Gabriel's, what's going on here? That's got to be like set pieces, right?
Yeah.
They were saying they turned into Stoke instead of Arsenal.
What?
No, that's just rubbish.
But okay,
to be honest, it's corners. That's not Stoke. It's corners.
And to be fair, Arsenal are not known for corners, right?
Yeah, we got a set piece coach. We have a set piece coach.
Yeah, they have. He joined last season, didn't he?
He's earning his coin, man. You know, those goals, it relaxed us a lot, and you know, took all the jitters and the whatever's out of the stadium and that. So I think that was, Gabriel was a beast at nearly every bloody corner. We done well.
Okay.
What I would say though is that outside of those set pieces, especially in the first half, you didn't offer much in terms of making Henderson have to make a save or troubling him. So I'm not saying like you didn't play well,
yeah.
But I just think if you just look at it contextually,
Yeah.
those without those set pieces, you didn't offer much in terms of a goal threat. Obviously that changed in the second half because it's a totally different game, etc.
Yeah,
But I
definitely.
think
The subs changed the game, definitely.
I think Crystal Palace were set up quite well to handle Arsenal, and but they were really good set pieces. And I think the stat is that you scored the most set piece goals in the Premier League this season. So your set piece coach is
clearly doing his job.
He's earning his coin. But it's interesting though. Like a couple of years ago, Liverpool hired a
throwing coach.
Yeah. So these are like the little nuances that kind of I'd say the top managers and I'd say probably the top clubs are looking at. Because
throwing coach is mad though.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
I was gonna give it to you, but but throwing coach is mad though.
Beat me to it.
It is mad, but it shows
because you don't need a throw-in coach. Like the coaches that are there should be like, all right, let's do this little pattern. You come in, drop out, and spin out, and do this.
Why do I need a dedicated
actual throwing coach?
So
is crazy.
Apparently, it's not just about kind of where you throw it. It's kind of when you get a throw in. It's how your players are set up. So it's not just the person.
But that's what T just literally said. Patterns.
Yeah, but if there's someone who can elevate your coach's knowledge of a particular subject.
So what do coaches do then?
Brother, it's working, isn't it? Like,
imagine you're a coach.
But I'm thinking, what? So we can't figure it out? Like,
but you have attacking coaches, you have defensive coaches.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I remember when I was training at a semi-pro team, we had a coach come in. There were two coaches come in for one session, and the one was a specific attacking coach. So when we done our training, he worked on literally just attacking patterns of play. Yeah. And then one coach was coaching the defenders, and he was coaching them on how to operate against those patterns, right? And then you have your standard coaches that will cover everything.
Yeah.
Why is it that not one of those coaches knows how to work a throw-in? Why do I have to now go get someone who sits there and just analyzes? And
I think we overdo it a bit.
Yeah, I to me it feels like it's overdoing it. It feels like overkill. But to Keith's point, I understand, the small details.
Someone's looked at stats saying we lose the ball 90% of our throw-ins. We don't retain the ball or something. Let's bring in someone that specifies in this to keep the ball when we've got. I don't know. It's just mad.
Yeah,
it feels like
mad,
overkill to me.
Yeah, so like the guy is
defensive coach, goalkeeping coach,
Thomas Gonimar, and it says he helps the players to improve their throwing technique so they can throw the ball more efficiently. Working on video analysis and 30 different technical aspects. So he's found something.
I would love to see his session. No, seriously, I would love to see his session.
It must be a mazza.
I would love to see his session.
For Jurgen Klopp to be like, yeah, we need to sign him. And it says here, he's worked with Ajax, Leipzig, Gent, and Brentford. So whatever he's showing him, that PowerPoint is 30.
But this is what I'm saying. You lot are Liverpool guys. Have you seen the difference to your throw-ins? No. I don't know. Have you seen it be effective?
No, I haven't. I'm not.
As a throwing one, you lot a match?
Nah, not at all.
Oh, that's hilarious. So yeah, Gabriel scores the first header from a corner on the 11th minute, and then the second corner, 37th minute. Gabriel gets his head to it, but it's given as a Henderson own goal. I think because the ball wasn't on target, it was kind of heading back across the goal. Yeah, hit Henderson and goes in, given own goal. Henderson tried to claim he was bumped or whatever, but I just think he wasn't
the usual
strong enough to
Benny White
to get
just stood in front of him.
Yeah, this is it. So yeah, 2-0 half time. As I said, game was pretty even aside from the set pieces. But yeah, second half, Arsenal kind of turned the dial up a little bit and kind of shown what they're about really. Like I say, they haven't scored in X amount of games, and I think they were mindful of that. Like, I think the break to Dubai helped them out. The less said about that and certain activities, the better.
Hey, Arteta. No, we're not breezing by that one. Arteta was out there getting fed.
He's living his life.
He was, man. He was.
Leave him alone.
Hey. You know he regretted it as soon as it happened. He was like, damn. Like, it is what it is, man. I thought the third goal was really good. So I think the cross was played in by one of the Crystal Palace player. Raya comes out, claims it really well. And just throws it straight out to Jesus to get Arsenal on their counter-attack. And it was pretty much like a pin-perfect pass from Jesus to Trossard, who was helped out by Klein slipping. But I think like he done enough to kind of put him off and slotted it in. So 3-0 by the 59th minute. And it's pretty much kind of game sewn up.
Yeah.
Crystal Palace had a few kind of long-range efforts from Eze. But then by the time Martinelli comes in and scores kind of 2 late counter-attacking goals, which are really good finishes, I'd add. Kind of, they were like pretty much the same finish, carbon copy, weren't they? In the 94th and 95th minute. Wrap the game up for Arsenal. Get them back on track. Do you think this will kind of rejuvenate yourselves? And hopefully you can kind of kick on and maintain a title challenge?
I still see a bit of the old Arsenal.
So when you say old, you mean last season or previous this season?
Last year, let's say. Still see a bit of that. Wasn't really free flowing and punishing them on the attacks and stuff like that. But the jitters and everything that came with it, I think that was the perfect game to have. 5-0 done. I was impressed with Jorginho when he come on. Very impressed with him.
I think this
was very impressed with Raya as well. Distribution all game was good.
Yeah. There was one incident where his kicking nearly caught him out in
the first and then
half.
he made a good save.
He made a save.
Yeah, that was the one. But I feel like that was a good that was a game that I've actually seen him and said, yeah, he done well. Jorginho is I really think he's staking his claim to start some of these games, you know.
Oh, really?
I'm being real. Like him, Rice and Odegaard look very good in the midfield.
I think that's a good part of midfield.
Yeah, you can see as well. Like
they're not ball. I wouldn't call them Odegaard and Jorginho ball winners, but on the ball,
they'll keep that ball.
They'll keep you ticking.
Yeah,
they'll keep you ticking.
Yeah, that's what you need.
Yeah.
Martinelli, hopefully that he kicks on from that. Brilliant finishes, brilliant for his confidence. He didn't start, so to come on after seeing the guy that replaced you scored, coming on, banging two. You can't get better than that. For him
so
anyway.
Arsenal have got Forest away, Liverpool at home, West Ham away. The next 3 league games. What point expectation would you?
I think Forest will be tough.
So you'd want 9 points, obviously. But what do you think?
Facts. Who's it? Forest, Liverpool, and who?
Forest away, Liverpool at home, West Ham away.
It's tough, mate.
2 points.
I genuinely can see them coming away with 0.
No, I couldn't. I'm not gonna lie. The Forest and West Ham games are tough games.
This is what I'm saying.
They're tough games. And Liverpool at home, but it's Liverpool. So
see, this is why this 5-0 performance, although it's great and it boosts
these
confidence.
Next games are the real games.
This is where it gets real tricky because you could have it could be a false sense of.
But what we can only do, we've played this game now. We had Palace at home. It's like a okay game. Like, yeah, we should go out there and do it. But if we didn't do it, it would have been another thing.
More pressure,
so we actually did do it properly, 5-0, swept them later. Boom. Now we go on to Forest. So it's only confidence, isn't it? From that. So hopefully we go there and do a job. And then we move on to Liverpool. And I feel like we will win.
All right.
Interesting.
I'm just saying, have you not got this Trent back for that?
Don't worry about it.
I'm just asking.
Did you see Joe Gomez's assist today?
Is Salah?
Did you see Joe Gomez's assist today?
No, I'm fine with Joe Gomez.
Salah didn't play in the FA Cup game.
No, I'm just asking, is Salah going to be there? No.
Unlikely.
And Trent, no.
He's more likely. So they said Trent was 2 weeks and it's been a week. So he might be.
Cool.
He might be
yeah,
back.
no, but you never know. But I feel like we're going to win that. That's just me. But
right.
if I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised if we got 5 points.
Winning 2 draws. I can hear that.
Okay, yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
What do we think about Palace?
That was my next point. So there was a protest in the stands by some of their fans. I don't know if you saw the banner. So the banner said,
what was that about?
wasted potential on and off the pitch, weak decisions taking us backwards. So there were rumblings in the FA Cup replay against Everton in the week. So he made certain subs that they weren't happy with, the travelling fans, and they booed the subs that Roy Hodgson made. There seems to be a bit of rumblings that he's reverting back to when he got sacked a couple seasons ago, rather than the style of football he was playing at the back end of last season that was kind of free-flowing, got them
Fresh,
scoring
young.
like four goals in like 2 games, etc., where everyone was kind of happy. And there's the feeling that he's kind of reverted back to his old type, and there's a lot of disgruntled Crystal Palace fans. So what do you think's next for them? Like what?
Yeah, but what did they expect though? Who did they sign in the summer?
Lerma?
Mm-hmm.
I think that was...
Is that it?
think-
What do you expect?
Yeah, I think that was it, yeah.
What do you expect? Like, the strikers ain't.
So strikers can't hit a barn door.
Yeah. The only players they
At
got...
least saying Eze can't
that's
stay
it.
fit.
And they don't stay fit. But they're the only
And
ones.
Elise as well.
So him going backwards, I heard like some things of like he's starting to play older players now. He's not playing the youth anymore.
Yeah.
So he's trying to get something. He's trying to do tried and trusted now, innit?
Yeah.
Because there's nothing. He hasn't got anything. He can't sign players, like whatever. But what do the Palace fans want?
Yeah, and I think it's a bit hard because obviously Eze's been injured every now and again this season. Elise had a quite a bad injury, only really just come back.
Jordan Ayew's at AFCON.
Yeah, at AFCON. And like he's bizarrely the most failed player in the Premier League. So he's doing something to kind of, even if he's just being busy. So obviously they're missing that. They're 15th in the league, 21 points, 5 points off the relegation zone. Do you think Roy Hodgson sees out the end of the season if results don't pick up?
Oh, he'll be there to the end of the season.
Yeah.
So
Whether he
think-
stays beyond that is another question.
Did he say this is his last season or?
Well, no,
yeah.
because his contract is only to the end of the
Yeah,
season.
his contract's up. I don't think it's going to be renewed. I personally don't think he's going to see out the end of the season.
You think they're going to sack him?
I think if results kind of... So they won one in the last 5. I think if results kind of continue as they are, and we mentioned on the pod last week, you got managers like Graham Potter who are out of work, who Daz and I agreed on we think he would be a perfect
Yeah,
fit
you
for-
might as well
for
get
Crystal Palace.
rid now, innit? And just get someone in. If Potter's available.
Yeah, like if I think it would be a smart move because I went to the Palace Liverpool game. They played really well, but there was no cutting edge. Like even though they took the lead and they obviously had a sending off, etc., there was just something missing about them, and I think that's what the fans are kind of worried about. Whether that spark is going to come back and whether Roy Hodgson's the man.
If we're being honest, Palace have never been that team. They've never had a team where you look back and go, oh yeah, I could see them pushing onto Europe. They've never had that.
But as you just said, mediocrity don't cut it.
I know, no, but I'm saying they are the
want to
definition
see up there,
of
innit?
a steady Eddie.
I actually think that they could be a couple signings away from being a good, like, knocking on the door of those conference places or something like that.
Yeah,
I swear down, because you got Elise, you got Eze, you got Tyreek Mitchell, you got Gay. Add a couple players in there, proper players.
They need a good striker, but strikers are hard to find now.
Yeah, and keep them young players fit, and they could be doing bits.
Yeah.
I think if you, I can't remember when Crystal Palace last came up from the Championship. I don't think it was.
Was it the Andy Johnson that time? They haven't been done since then, have they?
They need him back.
They might have been. But I can say, if you look at teams like Brentford, Fulham, Bournemouth, like Wolves, they're teams that have come up in and around the same time as Palace or after Palace.
Yeah.
And they just kind of settled in it. Like even Brighton settled Premier League teams where Crystal Palace just kind of, they don't seem like they're settled as a Premier League team. Like they could be on the verge of flirting with relegation. which is not what them or their fans want.
No,
So-
it was the Zaha Balassi. Zaha. and
Oh, so
Balassi.
okay, so it's been a while.
So they,
But that even stretches my point. Like these
Yeah.
other teams have come up, and it might be down to investment and etc. But they haven't kicked on like they should if they've been in the league
Well,
so long.
the teams that have come out, look at they've spent a lot of money.
this is it. And I was listening to Simon Jordan the other day on TalkSport, and he was talking about the current owner,
Parish.
Parish. He doesn't think he's making wise decisions in terms of running the club, but we didn't want to
Jordan,
get too
though, innit?
involved in
Jordan's not very complimentary of many people
No,
he's
outside
not.
of himself.
Yeah.
But and he said the one thing that he said that I'd noticed as well, they've stopped investing in the youth, like trying to bring through. Because remember Palace, there was a time when under Jordan you had all them
Proper,
Palace players
yeah.
coming through. Klein,
Victor Moses.
Victor Moses,
Which is surprising,
Scannell.
considering
Like, there was bare of them coming through.
They've just got a new training complex.
Yeah.
Which would be state of the art, you'd think.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Crystal Palace's predicament. We have to keep an eye on that one. So they've got Sheffield United next at home. I think if they don't get 3 points there, I think the pressure would really be on Mr. Hodgson. Arsenal went level with Man City on points, even though they played the game more. Are you in the title race?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I said it. 28 games. If we're still like that, those points, I'm fine. Let's
Okay.
go. Let's
That's
go
good.
in the last 10. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, you always back here. I respect that. I respect
You
that.
gotta be there or thereabouts in the last 10 games, isn't it? It's gotta be touch tight.
Right. The last of the weekend's fixtures so far. AFC Bournemouth 0, Liverpool 4.
Wow, well done. Bournemouth.
So
Same Bournemouth that slapped Man United 3-0.
Man United. Man United are dead.
so we're not getting our flowers for like getting a
No, I
A
give it.
victory
I give it.
at the most informed team in the league.
Yeah, I
away
give
from
it
home.
to you. Bournemouth have been doing well recently, so I'll give it to you. But
Fair enough.
it's Bournemouth, innit?
So Isaac, to give you a quick analysis of the game. Tough first half, I thought.
That's it. Bournemouth came out, all guns blazing, put us under pressure from the jump. Our young midfield looked a bit shaky. Harvey Elliott kept giving the ball away.
Mm-hmm.
Curtis Jones looked a bit overrun. And then we grew into the game. Alex, do you know who really stood out for me in that first 15 though? McAllister.
Yeah.
He looked, as much as they say that's not his position, he looked absolutely sure of himself.
Yeah, I thought he
His
done really
passing range, that ball he slapped out to the left wing to Nunes, the ball that he pinged into Elliott's feet, he looked proper in there. We grew into the game. Nothing really came of it. And then Bournemouth came back at us, put us a bit under pressure. I was a bit shocked about that. I thought, bloody hell, what's going on? Like, we just warmed into the game. Now all of a sudden we're back on the back foot again.
Yeah. So just before we scored, there was a tackle on Luis Diaz
Yep.
by
Disgraceful.
By
Should have been a
Cliver.
red card, straight red.
where the general consensus of fans who have seen it said it should have been a red card.
Straight red.
Didn't even get a booking.
There
I think
were
the referee
no
kind of
retrospective ban.
saw it as
So
a
wait,
traffic.
it didn't get a booking
Nothing. The
on
ref
the
just said
pitch.
play on.
So the VAR can't look at it or did look at it or what?
Looked at it and said carry on.
Yeah, looked at it. So
VAR actually looked at it and said, cool.
yeah. And it was very reminiscent of Jones's against Tottenham, the way he kind of just went over the ball.
Studs, his whole foot was here.
But he didn't really like go over the ball. So yeah, I think that was a bit of a contentious one to be looked at.
But, do you know what it is? You just have to get on with it. I think if you make a fuss about it, it's much about nothing. We've done it all season. Just get on with it.
This is
They will see it after the fact and they'll know they've made a mistake. Leave them to it.
Yeah.
Second half kicks in.
Yep, and then Liverpool start really fast. Joe Gomez fires a ball into Curtis Jones, chests it down, passes it off to Jota, who plays a first-time pass to Darwin, who slots it. Really good finish.
Mhm.
I was really impressed with that. And that kind of settled Liverpool's nerves down a little bit. And then Gakpo sets up Jota in the 70th minute to make it 2-0. And then young Conor Bradley, who has played really well in the absence of Trent Alexander-Arnold.
He has.
Sets up Jota to make it 3-0. Jota having to take 2 bites of the cherry to put the ball away, but he does it. And then Joe Gomez, does his best Trent impression with a fine ball into Nunes.
Right on the plate. And even with, listen, right. I'm not 100% on this Nunes train.
Oh, I'm fully aware of this.
Right? And it's moments like these that make me go, it's just, what is this? Because even when he scores sometimes, like I've said it before, when he scores, he looks like luck. He don't look like a clinical striker, like a boom, like a Henry.
Yeah.
Slot, open the body, far corner.
Yeah.
You don't look like a, Erling Haaland, just power, just pure finesse and power. He don't look like none of that. He just looks like, when he scores, it's like, oh my God, I scored. How did that happen? The ball's whipped in.
It was unconventional finish.
And it looked like he's gone to hit it, but he's lost his footing. He's hit his foot and gone in. It just looks nuts. It looks nuts.
I thought he was a natural goal scorer.
This is what I don't understand. But do you know what? I was listening to the radio on the way in, and one of the callers said that it's putting him out on the left is the best thing because up top when you're forcing him to move around as a number 9. As a poacher, whatever, whichever role you're giving him, it doesn't suit him. But if you put him out on the wing where he can use his attributes, which is that of an athlete, he likes to get more touches and run at players, he becomes more effective. Right? And I think that's what it is. Maybe Klopp just has to.
But I saw when the little bit that I did see of the match, when Gakpo come on, didn't he go out on the left? Not Nunes, Gakpo went out on the left.
Yeah.
Why?
But they were quite interchangeable because even Diaz started on
and
the
this
right.
is what I was going to say. Klopp needs to go back to just saying, you three, figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm going to start you like this,
but float.
But you're going to float. Because, at some point, give Nunes a chance out left. Diaz, you go out right. Gakpo in the middle, rotate and figure it out, right? Because if you keep Nunes up top through the middle, he becomes ineffective. He doesn't do much. He just runs at players and, the chaos stuff. Yeah, I'm not for it.
He was less chaotic today, but still effective. Which is essentially what you want to see.
I'm happy he scored. Good for him. Good on him. Hopefully he carries this form on to the next few games. But, there's no finesse about him, man. It's like a bull in a china shop, literally.
But this is what you lot liked when you first come, though.
And
that's what you lot like.
But
chaos.
But the thing is, like the debate we were having maybe like a month, 6 weeks ago was like being reliant on Salah. And Salah hasn't played in the last 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
We scored 2 against Arsenal. We scored 2 against Fulham. We scored 4 today.
How many has he scored?
Who? Darwin.
2.
He scored
2.
Jota's been the guy who stepped up,
and
I think that's what was needed.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, if we were solely dependent on Salah, then you could see where our season might derail. But it can see like the others are kind of stepping up and saying, right, Salah's not here. We need to show the boss what we can do, show the fans what we can do, and that seems to be happening so far. So let's see how that plans out. So Liverpool are still top. 48 points from 21 played, 5-point gap over City, Arsenal and Aston Villa. Isaac, do you think we're ahead of schedule in terms of where we should be considering we had a rebuild, or do you think this is just So I said Klopp will always get back. Like Terrell and I had a debate back in the last season about whether Liverpool will come good again. I always thought we would. I didn't think we'd be where we are now. I thought we'd be.
Why not?
Just
the midfield,
just because of the
probably.
midfield revamp, innit?
But
Like,
we bought a quality midfielder.
Oh no, I know that, but sometimes it takes a while to gel in it. But yeah, I'm not saying
we still had.
I thought we'd be challenging, but I didn't think we'd be top with 5 points clear. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, crazy! As soon as we got our new midfield in, I said, right, we're back.
That's it, yeah.
Because we've got the defense, we've got the attack. Our middle just needed a refresh, and it's not like we bought,
up and coming stars,
and players that are unproven.
Like a
McAllister's
Hungarian international.
McAllister's come from Brighton, so he's already played in the Prem, World Cup winner. Szoboszlai, he's a very good player. At the very least, he's an athlete.
Yeah.
So he can do box to box. He's got the engine to do what he needs to do. Gravenberch is a talent.
He's a wonder kid. When are you a wonder kid?
Yeah.
He's only 22. Like a lot of people forget
from Ajax to Bayern. And he was highly touted. Yeah. So he's got something about him. And then we brought in Endo, who's slowly
title winning side. Title winning signings that
they could prove to be.
I heard you. When we signed Endo, certain man were laughing in the room.
No, that's Endo. That's one. That's one man, innit? But McAllister, Szoboszlai.
Well, it looks like it could be
Gravenberch.
So yeah, let's see. So yeah, Liverpool have got Fulham next in the second leg of the League Cup, which I'm sure they were going to quite confident. Then they got Norwich at home in the FA Cup next weekend, and then their next league game is against Chelsea at home.
So wait. Chelsea at home, Arsenal away, Burnley at home.
Yep.
Sure.
9 points.
9 points.
9 points.
Standing on it.
Okay.
9 points.
And you've got to play 3 games before you reach Arsenal. We've just got 1 game.
Keep the momentum going.
All right, cool.
Winning breeds confidence.
We got Fulham in the League Cup.
Yeah,
we'll play a weekend team.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I don't think he will, I think he'll go for that. I think you can go strong against Fulham and rest against Norwich.
You lot try and go weak against Fulham. You might.
Yeah, I don't think we will. I think he'll
stuck, mate.
Yeah, I think he'll go strong.
Okay.
How much more weekend? You ain't got Trent. You ain't got Salah. How much more weekend?
No Szoboszlai.
Start a couple youngsters.
Okay.
I think I'd play the
Fulham
team
ain't
that
a joke.
started today, and then just rotate on Sunday.
Yeah, that's better off staying strong for Fulham, resting for Norwich.
Yeah, because I think no matter because you can bring in like your Bobby Clarks. I think Bradley could play another game. Trent might be back for Chelsea. So yeah, I think you can. Yeah, rest against Norwich, I'd say. I personally go strong. Get to a cup final. Just so it kind of breeds.
Chelsea, you're buzzing, man.
I'm telling you, I'm being
say?
real.
He said Chelsea are going to do us.
Yeah, I think Chelsea will do you lot.
Just because they gave you a game.
No, they gave you lot a game as well.
First game of the season, isn't it? Like, no one knows it. No one knows what's happening.
They've always raised it. They've always raised
this is true.
Against top teams.
That is true.
And I feel like they're going to raise it even more because they're at Anfield and it's going to be a raucous atmosphere and those players are going to turn up because they're just going to want to turn up that game.
They're going to hear you. They're going to hear You'll Never Walk Alone.
They're going to want to turn up.
Absolutely melt.
Okay.
Let's see. Right. The last of these game week fixtures is Brighton v Wolves tomorrow at Brighton. I think that could be quite a good game actually. Both teams are playing pretty well. Do you want to call out a result for Brighton or Wolves on that?
Brighton, I'd say.
I'm going for a draw.
Yeah, I'd say draw. Score draw. I'd go for. And then you're looking ahead to the next round of fixtures, which are midweek fixtures. So a week Tuesday they start. We've got Forest Arsenal, as we mentioned, Fulham Everton, Luton v Brighton, Crystal Palace v Sheffield United, Aston Villa v Newcastle. That'd be interesting, considering Newcastle kind of handed out a beating to Villa first game of the season. Oh, these reverse fixtures first game of the season, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Man City, Burnley, Tottenham, Brentford, Liverpool, Chelsea as mentioned, West Ham, Bournemouth, and Wolves v Man United. Yeah, that could be an interesting one. Right, that's all the on-field stuff that we got on the agenda. So we're just going to touch on a few off-the-field topics, things that have happened in the world of football over the last week or so. So, Jose Mourinho sacked by Roma after...
It was a long time coming.
3 years. In
Legend.
The hot seat, just shy of 3 years. in the hot
Legend.
seat. So I put this one on the agenda, and the reason is to ask the question: is his legacy being tarnished a little bit by his last few managerial?
Never. The streets love him.
appointments?
The streets love him. It's
He won something at Roma.
exactly.
He won
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah,
The
he
Roma
won-
fans
when it-
loved him. They didn't want him to go.
Yeah, so that is true. They didn't want him sacked. I think it was like a board level decision. Obviously, he won the Conference League with them, got to the Europa League final with them last season.
Streets love him.
But he was brought in to get them back into the Champions League.
hmm
And he hasn't finished in a Champions League position with a team since he was at Manchester United. So you're going back to 2017, I believe it is. Last time he finished in a Champions League.
What
spot.
teams has he had? Tottenham and Roma.
Tottenham and Roma. But with Roma, they've got the second highest wage bill in Serie A.
Yeah, they got a couple
And
of
they-
big
Yeah,
players,
that's
big names. isn't it?
Dybala.
Dybala, Lukaku.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think they spent the third highest amount since he's been there on
They
transfer
got
fees.
a couple players. you
Yeah,
know.
they have. So is it a case
but
of
they've got a couple of players, but these are players that aren't
They've
in there.
been.
They're just. It looks like they're over the hill.
Yeah.
'Cause Lukaku's not the same player.
No.
Granted, he gets goals here and there. Dybala's the reason why Juventus let him go because he was injury prone.
Yeah.
He couldn't stay fit. What have they still got El Shaarawy?
Tommy's pulling up their squad now.
Have they? I think they do.
I mean, if you look at their squad,
No,
Tammy
no.
Abraham's been injured for a
Tammy Abraham,
while, and he
They
was
still
there.
got Smalling.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure he's been injured as well.
Yeah, they do. So, yeah, do you think it's time for him to kind of cut his losses with
Renato
club-
Sanchez, they're holding
Yeah,
on
they've
to
got
him.
big
Like,
players.
he can't. Everyone's asking what's happened to him
Yeah.
since the Euros. He's
Mm.
just never. He's been the shadow of the player he was.
So, do you think it's time
Paredes.
to cut his losses as a club manager and maybe look at going for like an international swan song? So, I think for me, what I've seen with Mourinho over the last few years is that he's just gone like uber defensive.
Mm.
Like his teams haven't really been set up to kind of be a free. So if you go back to like
His teams have never been set up to attack though.
his Chelsea team were like
It's Chelsea team.
his first Chelsea team weren't attacking.
Okay,
Come on.
beyond that, he became known for
Real
what?
Madrid as
Duff
well.
and them
Real
man
Madrid,
there.
Real Madrid were
They
attacking.
were attacking.
Okay, all right. Chelsea, Real Madrid, right? But
Even
those
his
are the-
second
but
spell,
look at the
first season,
players.
second spell.
Look at the players that he had at his disposal.
No, that's granted, but
It
I
was
think
when he came back to Chelsea,
Mm.
he became known for parking the bus and not
Pragmatic,
allowing teams to.
I feel like he deals with what he's got in it. If he's got the Ozils, Ronaldo, Di Marias, and all that, yeah, of course he's gonna let them loose. But when he's got,
But if you're
Fellaini
signing the
and that at
players-
Man United and that,
but if you're
I'm
signing
fan
the
of Man
players, isn't it for you to be like, right, this is my system,
Mm.
go out and implement it? Because like he didn't have a bad Tottenham team, but there were
He got them to a cup.
He
final.
got
Yeah,
them
that's
to a
what I'm
cup
saying.
final and they
This is
sacked
what
him.
I'm saying.
And he could have been
Yeah.
and I'm still saying in my head
baffled him.
he would have probably won that. Well, I don't know,
Yeah.
but
I think he would have won it.
he could have. Like,
Yeah, I
it was
think he would
there.
have. And like I was about to say,
It was there.
I think now he's like a cup manager in it. I think that's where he would excel. That's why I think he'd be really good at international management. Going in, right, you've got 6 games to set your stall out with then he's got the best of that particular nation in it.
So, what do you
to
think?
do
It's
it.
only Portugal, though.
I think he'd do a good job at England. I think he would love the England job. I know John said that
He
he would never
would.
go down the road
He would.
of a foreign manager again.
I think he would love that job.
I think he would love it, and I think he would do really well at Portugal or England. And with Martinez at Portugal now, I think he's more likely.
Yeah,
to
do you
get an
know what?
England job.
I'm just thinking of the things he would say if he ever won something as an England manager. He'll be telling everyone, "Don't ever talk to me. I got you lot these cups.
I ended the hurt.
Yeah, I done this." Oh, mate.
I mean, he won a European trophy with them. All right, granted they've not finished top 4, but he's brought success in the
Tough
short
league
term.
though, as well.
This is what I'm saying.
There's like how many teams is it? 4, 5
Inter,
teams?
AC, Juve, Lazio, Napoli. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, it's a tough.
You're up
tough
against
teams, man.
tough teams. And even in the midst of all that, like you said, he's won a European trophy. At Spurs, he got them to a cup final. Man United, he could finish second and they won the European trophy.
Yeah.
How's his legacy tarnished? In what way?
No, it ain't tarnished.
I'm just asking the question.
I know, but I know you're just asking.
I feel like, do you know what I just feel like? Yeah, when it starts going a bit downhill, at a club with him, it's like it looks bad. Like the
it's
how
clearly
he
a pattern.
sets up the teams and the play and all of that.
Gets a bit toxic, so to speak.
yeah. Then he starts with the media and all that sort of stuff. So it's a bit. It doesn't look good, but his track record.
And to be fair, you could say the sacking's a bit harsh because they're only 2 points off the Champions League space in Serie A. But again, I think if you look at it in totality of like the wage bill and what the owners of Roma want, I just don't think in the league, especially, he's not where they want to be. So,
which is fine, but I don't think that's on. You can't. I can't. It's not gonna. My view is it's not gonna tarnish his legacy. I think. I agree with you. I think maybe the time now is for international.
I don't even think it's his fault,
Haven't
man. I think it's maybe the way, where they was heading with the signings they made, the players that they brought in, and all that sort of stuff. Maybe it was maybe they got it wrong, innit? With a few people that they signed and stuff like that, because like Lukaku and that.
I think Lukaku was established
man.
In Serie A, innit? So
he's not the guy, man.
Interesting. So, do you think any top clubs would go after him? Let's say like a top 4 job in, let's say, England, like Newcastle been mooted, like obviously when he got sacked. Like, do you think that'd be wise?
I don't think Newcastle will do that. Actually, I'm talking rubbish. They could, because I don't know if Eddie Howe will stay much
I don't
longer.
think Eddie Howe's the guy to take Newcastle.
Yeah, if he don't, I'm thinking I can't see it. He's gonna get money to spend, but it's like Newcastle don't want to splash the cash, innit?
Apparently they can't. Like they said they need to sell in order to buy it to stay within FFP. So,
well, it might be Mourinho will be good there, I think, but I don't think. I don't know, to be honest. Eddie Howe's got a tough job on his hands. He needs to get back in the Champions League.
Well, it's not happening this year.
That's what I'm saying.
And they ain't
what is
winning
it going to happen next year?
So
but they can't win it.
Exactly.
So.
They ain't winning it, so and they're not gonna get Champions
Not
League.
in the Europa League.
Done.
Like, where is he gonna finish?
I can see them saying at the end of the season, thanks, but we're gonna move you on.
So it'd be interesting to see where Mr. Mourinho ends up. Like
that would be
he's
so lit if he went Newcastle. I swear that. And they splashed a bit of cash, found a way, a loophole, and he went there. Ooh, it would be mad.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see where Mr. Mourinho ends up because he's no doubt one of football's entertainers. Right, next topic. Another sacking. This one, not very surprising to say the least.
What?
Troy Deeney has been released from League 2 Forest Green Rovers after just 6 games where they managed 3 draws and 3 defeats. And I think most of this will stem from his outburst that we spoke about last week. So he's come out after this and he said that...
Chat too much. That's his problem, bro.
So he's basically come out and said that Forest Green Rovers have used him for his contacts to get players to the club.
What players did they bring in? Did they actually bring in any players? Like,
so apparently they signed 2 or 3 players.
They signed 4 players.
Yep.
Yeah. Where from?
One of them was already on loan. He's from a higher. I think he came from League 1. or the Championship, but he was already on loan in League Two. So he came in. Another one was on loan again at a higher club, but on loan in the National League. They brought him in. Fankati Dabo. Did he come in because of Deeney, or was he already there? He was already there. And I think there was two other players again. He said that they only came to the club because of him from higher leagues. But when you actually sit there and look at it, no, they weren't. They was all either like League One or League Two already.
They were already doing that. Yeah.
So what are you doing? What were we talking about here?
Talking rubbish, man.
So I can understand why he was appointed in terms of they were in a bit of a bad patch. He was there as a player coach anyway from the start of the season. Manager goes, even if we had a good relationship with the chairman thought, right, let me give Troy a chance. Because for how outspoken he is, Troy seems like someone who can talk his way into certain situations.
Well, the owner said that he knows the game.
Yeah, so
he comes across as someone that's got a lot of knowledge and experience. So it was a sure thing.
Yeah, and I think his temperament and character, he doesn't like to waver. And I think when you get to certain positions, no matter who you are, you have to, especially if you're starting out in management for the first time. So he can be like, well, I'm Troy, I'm going to tell it as it is, X, Y, Z. That works to a certain extent and in certain situations. But like it was a bit of an outburst because he didn't need to go on like a rant as what he did. And yeah, I just think if he wants to be a manager, this will be a massive learning curve for him and how he needs to conduct himself. Because he
hasn't learnt though. He's come back out again and said something.
And the thing is, there's nothing to say you can't be that kind of manager, but you have to have some skin in the game. This is your first job. You've not built up a portfolio of management. So coming in and trying to upset the apple cart straight out of the gate is never going to work. Right?
Yeah, 100%.
Clearly, as we've seen. That side said it all.
Bro, you need to know, like, you just got to have a brain, innit?
Do you know what's mad, yeah? You see when we was talking about it in this, I listened to it again. And the more you listen to it,
he's taking liberty.
The mad it sounds.
The worse it gets.
The worse it gets. It was
I know we all want players and coaches and managers to come out and just be themselves a bit more. You can be yourself, but
there's a line.
Yeah, there's a line you don't cross, bro. And then, the club ain't yours. You're answering to someone.
Yeah.
So when you're sacked, then you got sacked, yeah. And then instead of you to keep your mouth closed
and just
because you want to be a manager,
right?
And another owner might say, you know what, you got it wrong. You had a little outburst, bit emotional in the post game, whatever. It's all right. I'll give him another chance. Let's see how it goes. He's doubling down. Where owner will now think, so you're gonna come to my club and then tell me you was doing me favors and stuff like. You're going mad. Who are you?
And he's absolutely right. That's the part that's just like mind-boggling at this point. Like just take your L.
That's it.
And keep it pushing.
Done. And he apologized. So just keep going around that. You don't have to keep apologizing all your life, but oh yeah, boy, you know what? I've learnt my lesson, innit? I now know that you can't do that. I was a bit emotional, right after the game, bad result, whatever. Shouldn't have said those things, you know what I'm saying? My bad, whatever. Cracking on with my coaching, see where it takes me. Done.
That's it. Now, someone said when they seen him in the Celine tracksuit on the pitch.
Now everything just looks mad. Now everything just looks mad. Bro.
They said, they knew it was going to be a madness.
Yeah, so, we're not surprised that Deeney has been sacked.
Not at all.
Yeah, it would have been nice for a young kind of manager to kind of cut his teeth in the lower leagues and see how he gets on. But
and the maddest thing is the results weren't even that crazy.
Yeah.
They were doing okay.
We need black managers, you know. And my man just come in and and just
Mash up the team.
just mash up the team. Oh, mate.
Oh, right. Moving on to our next subject. Something that we spoke on like previously in the pods, but it's something that kind of rears its ugly head time and time again. So there are two racist incidents that happened in the world of football yesterday. One being Kasey Palmer, who plays for Coventry, having a really good season, playing against Sheffield Wednesday at Sheffield Wednesday. He was subjected to monkey chants from a fan in the stands. He went on his Twitter and he posted, "Disappointed to even have to come on here and write this. Racism is a disgrace. It has no place in the world, let alone football. I'm black and proud, and I'm raising 3 kids to be exact same. I'll be honest, it feels like things will never change no matter how hard we try. Couple fans doing monkey chants don't define a fan base. I appreciate all the love and support I've received." So this happened during the Coventry Sheffield Wednesday game. Kasey was like visibly kind of taken aback by what happened. I'm not sure if you've seen the footage.
Yeah, have you seen it?
Yeah.
Have you
Saw the clip?
It's very clear and evident that there was one or two, at least one Sheffield Wednesday fan making kind of the monkey chant signs towards Palmer.
Do you know what the most upsetting part about that clip that's got doing the rounds is for me?
Barry Bannon.
Mm-hmm. Did you see that part when he was just telling him to get on with it?
Yeah. I saw it, but I don't want to go in on him. I don't want to go in on him. I don't want to go in on him because I don't know what he heard. I don't know what he thought was going on. So I don't want to say he knew exactly what was going on and he was telling him, "Oh, just get on with it," kind of thing. I can look at it and I can say, yeah, it looks like that, but you never know. But it did look like he done that.
It looked.
I don't
like
really want to just go in.
They're making racist monkey noises or monkey signs, and Barry's just gone, "I just get on with it."
Yeah,
and that's what it looks like. And if that is the case, then do you know what? It's to Kasey's point. No matter how hard we try, no matter what we do, it's always nothing's gonna change when you've got players with mentalities, or not even just players, people in general with the mentality of. And even Joey Barton released a tweet and be like, "Don't give it oxygen and just carry on words. It's just words." No, it's not just words. It's not just words. He tweeted
that. Yeah, but that's the mentality. They actually believe, like, all jokes aside, they actually believe, like, I don't want to swear, but calling you a black whatever is just a cuss. Like, they really just believe
words.
That, though.
Yeah, it's just words.
Like, it's just words. Like, it's
don't let it hurt you.
Like, it's all right. It's like me calling you a blind whatever.
Yeah.
That's what they really believe. Or a bald whatever. Sorry, Keith.
All right. Thank you for pointing at me directly, you know? Safe.
No, but that's what they actually believe. And they grew up believing that.
It's
like,
nuts,
so you take it, innit?
It's
like,
nuts,
take it.
Man. I can't, if someone's telling me, yo, this person's disrespecting me or treating me a certain way, I'm not just gonna be like, get on with it. All right, cool. Let's do something about it. Ref. It's like I know you're gonna come onto it, but we're here now. Mike Mainan and the fact that he was subject to racist chants from the crowd, and he just walked over to the ref, took his gloves off, and walked off.
So on that point, so I was gonna bring up the Mike Mainan thing. Does that show the difference in kind of maybe support that players outside of England get in terms of when racist incidents happen? Because we've seen it in Spain where players have walked off the pitch when something happened. It's happened in Italy a few times where it's not in a high profile level, it might happen at a lower level. But like, I think if Palmer had walked off the pitch yesterday, I think he would have been. I don't think he would have had much support from his teammates. That's me personally, just kind of taking.
I disagree.
Really?
I disagree.
These times, I think they would have.
I think they would, because
I think he would have been stopped before he got off the
pitch.
pitch. So with Mainan, he got down the tunnel, composed himself, came back. I don't think Palmer would.
No, but he got to the edge of the pitch and they were trying to keep him on the pitch. Then he took his gloves off and then walked out off the pitch. Right? I think some of the times you're referring to, or at least some of the times that I've seen, Mario Balotelli, Kevin Prince Boateng, when they were both playing for, well, Balotelli, I think he was playing in Serie B at the time, and Kevin Prince Boateng when he was at AC Milan, and they were playing either, I think Balotelli's was a league game and KPB's was a friendly against the lower level Italian teams, and the crowds were chanting racial things, and they both threatened to walk off the pitch, and people were just like, no, don't do it, trying to keep them on the pitch. And some of the people weren't really trying to support, some were showing full support. But I think, like T said, we're at a time now where, especially after the back of the Vinny Jr. stuff and how global that went, any kind of incidents like that now are going to be supported, I believe. FIFA just came out. I know it's a lot of it's lip service, and Infantino's doing a lot of there should be forfeits now if this stuff continues. They can't just be seen to just
do nothing. They always do nothing though.
They have to do something.
But the case is like, what do you do? Because I know Infantino's come out and said, there should be match forfeits, there should be points.
Do you agree with that though? The forfeit, the actual forfeit, like, if there's blatant racial abuse going on, that team, whatever fan that team's on, they forfeit the game. The other team wins, we're going home.
I believe so.
No, yeah, it should be, but then you get the point of, how do you know that's a proper fan, a true fan?
They will always say that's not a real fan, or you don't even come. You don't even come. You don't even come every game.
I mean, someone trying to stitch up another team. So like, I don't think as an Everton fan and be like,
bro, you can see on their face, mate.
Yeah,
you can see they peed off. They're not by themselves. It's not like they're isolated. They're with their section of fans or whatever, and they're steaming at whoever it is, and they do whatever they say, whatever they or do whatever they do.
So what do you think would be a? Are you saying right, just 3 points? Like you just lose that match?
Yeah,
3-0 automatically done. Get like 3-0, 3 points for the other team.
So the devil's advocate here, how do you police that though? Because you're not gonna have a questionnaire for fans that are coming into the stadium and say, what are your views? Are you a racist? And they're gonna be ticking yes or no. Like, how do you police?
But I'm thinking about a real, like a serious deterrent to do it, innit?
There's not, but this is the thing. No matter what deterrent gets placed in, whether it's money, whether it's points,
no, the money can't.
They never put a substantial amount on it.
Yeah.
And if it comes down to points, like how do you police that? How do you stop your fans from being racist?
And if one fan, look like that fan, he'll probably be identified.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Maybe criminal charges, and he'll just get a lifetime ban. That's one fan.
That's exactly. Who cares? That's one fan.
Who cares?
And there are others around him. Because you don't do that if you're not comfortable. If you're not comfortable in your environment, you don't do that, innit?
No, but just think, like, you can't hear what's going on, but just think about what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone around him can hear.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But just think about what he's saying whilst he's doing the actions and everything.
Yeah.
So, because he's making a point to do the actions, because he probably can't. You can't hear him. You can't hear him. So I'm gonna make it like.
Because you're gonna know. Points at everything goes like that.
I'm gonna get my point across.
Yeah.
And do you know what the maddest thing is for me? Like, I love football. Like, I'm not ashamed to say that. I love football. But at no point would I go up and fight another set of fans because they support a different team for me.
I can't.
Or shout like abhorrent abuse at an opposition player just because they play for another team. Like, in my mind, I'm just like, that's insanity. Like, I get football makes you passionate. It can bring out a different side to you at times. But to go to that extent where you're like going at someone personally to like make racist abuse or go out and have a scrap because they support another team, like that level of, I don't even call it support.
Crazy.
Like, it's absolutely mental. I've never understood it. Like,
no.
It's hooliganism. Bring back calling fans hooligans. What happened to the era of newspapers and labelling fans hooligans? Look at these hooligans.
I feel like they're just trying to paint the picture of the game is nice over here. And look at Italy and look at Spain, and we're not like that.
Yeah.
Like, you get me?
We are.
Whereas Spain and Italy, I'm not gonna lie, they're like, they do the racism thing. They actually do the racism thing to put off the black player. Like, that's their thing. So even if you say, you might ask them, they might say no, but we say we do the chants and whatever to get in their head, so it throws them off and whatever. Yeah. That's their thing. And that goes on nearly week in, week out. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But over here, because it's like, I don't even know what they do over there when it comes to racism, innit? Like identifying people, bans and all that. I don't even think they do anything, to be honest.
Yeah, they do a few fines. I know Atletico Madrid got fined over
but look, it's
nominal. Like
it's 100 grand.
Yeah, over here, I think it's a bit more. If that guy, he's probably going to get named and shamed, probably going to be in a paper, probably going to...
100%.
Certain things will happen to him, innit, personally, but the grand scheme of things, it's just him. It's one person. It's an individual.
Yeah, and it's a shame because, like, over the years, I think the stat is currently, I'm not sure whether it's the Premier League or just professional football in England, like 40% of whatever it is played by black professional players. So it's not like it's a new thing or there's like a small amount of black players. Like the team that you support has black players who would have scored goals that you would have cheered, etc. And
that's why it never makes sense.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It never makes sense.
We will never understand the mindset of a racist. And unfortunately, I don't think it's gonna be the last incidents that have happened.
No.
Like it will happen again.
It's gonna keep
in the
happening.
future. And it's just how we deal with it and how we support the players who it's affected.
100%.
And that's the best we can do.
Can I ask something?
Of course you can. We're open and
to both of you. What would you do in that instance if you was the player?
I'm walking off.
You're just walking off, done.
Walking off.
And would you expect your team to come with you, or would you wouldn't care if they played on, or?
I would. If you don't at least walk off the pitch with me, at least, then I've got a serious issue with my own teammates. I don't feel comfortable playing with or sharing a locker, sharing a changing room with people who condone, in my eyes, racism.
So for me, I think it's a little bit different because it's hard to put your expectations on other people and how you would handle something.
Yeah.
So I would walk off, as I said, but I would, to a point, understand why people, because not everyone's brave enough to back you with certain causes in it. Like, I think it's harsh to kind of put players who might not understand what's going on to a certain degree to kind of back you blindly in it. It would be great if they did. Yeah, I know. It would be great if they could.
We're meant to trust each other. I'm meant to understand. No, I'm meant to look at you and think,
but you know what it is? It's the bystander effect, innit? It's like, I'm sure you've been out on a night out and like seen a madness happen and you're like, right, there's a madness over there. But you haven't gone in or potentially stopped something.
But I'm not. That's different.
That's danger. That's if I got my head might get locked off.
And number two, I don't know this person from Adam.
But the bystander effect still comes into play in terms of, right, X players walked off. If I walk off, does that mess up my bag?
So what?
Well, I'm saying, like, but not everyone's in that
true.
position.
But it comes down to personal.
If we all walk off.
But I think you got to have that conversation.
Personal
beforehand.
sacrifice.
Like, I shouldn't have to.
People don't want to. We can all talk a good game.
I hear that.
But it comes down to real, like, when you stand for something, you got to be. You got to be 10 toes down and willing to take that personal sacrifice for whatever comes with it. And a lot of people don't want to do that. They just want to talk about it.
And that's fine. And I totally understand it. And it's like, I know it's a different sport, but the American NFL, the NFL, Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones said, any of my players kneel, you're not going to be a player. I'm ripping up your contract.
I know, saying you got to have the conversation beforehand.
So it's techie. So it's like,
but the American thing, it's different.
That's when it really gets like, patriotic. What do you do? Yeah.
Singing and for the flag and
different.
The servicemen and all of that. Yeah. You kneel. boy, you're out of there. And
Yeah.
a lot of America would agree with it.
Yeah.
So
And the thing is, like, with the pro game, everyone comes from different walks of life. Like, when we all kick ball together on a Saturday, if something kicked off, I knew 99% of you, man, were backing it, regardless, innit? And then we'd deal with the fallout afterwards. That's not the same in the pro game. Because everyone comes from different walks of life. They've got different things to think about. And I'm not trying to excuse it, like saying, oh, you should back your colleague in racism, etc. But not everyone's going to.
What are the consequences of just walking off the pitch, though?
Have you seen players agree to go off the pitch?
England.
When?
Yeah, they
When was that
played
one?
out in Macedonia or one of them countries.
They said you were okay.
So Harry Kane took them off the pitch.
Yeah. So I think as a club, you kind of got to have these conversations beforehand. Like, if this happened, and it might not happen
It's
at all.
just nuts having to have that conversation.
But
But
that's
look,
the world we
times
live
have
in, innit?
changed. Look, like how we're
Nuts,
saying,
man.
Harry Kane done that, took everyone off the pitch in North Macedonia. Then we've heard Gary Neville talk about when he was with England and heard racial abuse and he didn't understand it. He would think in his head, "Oh, just get on with it."
Yeah, I remember.
So,
I remember that conversation.
you know what I'm
And
saying?
he's looking back and kind of regretted what he.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he's kind of more
Yeah. And that's the
knowledgeable
thing, like,
now.
it wasn't until he was in it, he kind of froze in the headlights, isn't it? And
Yeah,
I think that's why you've got to kind of take in consideration with, like, the teammates of, like, players that are affected by this. Like, until you're in it, you might be like, oh yeah, man, I back you, man. It's calm.
yeah.
But then when it comes to it,
going back to my question, what are the consequences? You walk off the pitch, and now me and T are standing there, and I go to walk, but T's like, yeah, I don't know. What consequences? What are the consequences?
it might be when you're signing
Who's
for a new
gonna?
club.
Who's gonna?
But no one might.
Wouldn't you
overtly
want
say anything?
someone to take it out of your hands? Not like
Yeah.
the manager,
Or like
say
the captain,
everyone,
the captain walks in
or
and
the
says
captain, everyone.
Yeah.
Boom.
I think if that's the case,
Yeah.
then fine. The way
Yeah,
Harry
captain.
Kane done it, because it was Harry Kane and Jordan Henderson.
Yeah.
Harry Kane was capo, but Henderson and Kane were both coordinating it, right?
I feel like if it's the individuals on the pitch, some are gonna want to stay on, some are gonna want to play on, some are gonna want to.
Yeah.
But if a captain or a manager and that says everyone in,
Yeah.
then that's it. Then it's cool, innit? Because
Yeah.
the manager said let's all go in. You get me?
There's no scrutiny on me.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that's good. Captain or managers have that conversation.
Yeah.
Right, we're gonna end it there. Thank you very much, everyone. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, post, and all that good stuff. We've had some really good conversations on social media over the last week or so. Want to keep that going, and we appreciate everything that you guys are doing. So yeah,
Just
keep
quickly
listening.
as well,
Yeah.
the YouTube, can you subscribe and share?
Yeah.
Get someone else to subscribe. That's all we're asking
Please.
for. It helps us and keeps us going. Thanks.
Peace.